Hello, so Uncle Ray Dean again, talking about subjects around the world and in Texas. From inside the outside. I talked in my last video about the crimes that I done and got away with and my drug addiction. But I talked about I was on probation for 17 years and off and on, but I didn't tell you the part about in 1984 where I was married and me and my wife was separated, and then she stayed with some other guy, and I went up there and cut his tires and kicked the apartment door open, and police came and I left, and they looked for me. And so when I turned myself in, I went to county jail, and they wouldn't let me out. And when they let me out, they gave me a plane ticket to get out of town. They paid for the plane ticket because they were scared that I was going to kill somebody or get killed. Quite didn't understand what was going on. My mom came and got me, and it was a ticket that my brother lived in California. It was a ticket to California, and she got me right out of jail and took me to the airport. I'm all confused and combobulated, didn't know what was going on. Next thing you know, I was on the plane and headed to the LAX airport in Los Angeles. My brother picked me up. All the time, I didn't think I was that bad of a guy. I knew I was bad. I knew I had this stealing spirit. I couldn't shake the stealing spirit off me, man. And so I had to stay out of Atlanta for 3 years before I could come back. My brother lived in a town called Duarte, California. Never heard of it. Small little town, but big compared to where I was from. And he was a real good guy, my oldest brother. And so I thought I could hold my little addiction down because I'm a pill popper, a weed smoker, and I tried some powder cocaine, but it wasn't that resourceful to get then. It was rich man high. When I got to Duarte, I can never forget when he was riding me around town, and we saw this street called G Street, and he told me, man, don't never go down that street. Ain't nothing but a bunch of hoodlums down there. And as soon as I got his car, that's where I went to G Street. And them were my people on them hoodlums. It was gang members, drug dealers, prostitutes. They were all on this street, man. I picked up this female companion, Renee, and asked her where could I get some weed at. She took me to a few spots, and said they didn't have no weed. She couldn't find no weed. But she introduced me to crack cocaine. And I'll never forget that first night I didn't get nothing out of it. We smoked it, and I didn't get nothing out of it because I was inhaling it like you do marijuana. And you don't do it like that. I didn't know that then. Because she kept getting it, and she was high as Cooter Brown, and I'd hit it, and I wasn't getting nothing from it. So the next day, I got with her again, and that's when I felt the cocaine. First time I felt crack cocaine, and it was, I can't explain that feeling that it gives you. My brother helped me get a job at the post office, and the more money I made, the more crack I bought. more money I made, the more I found Renee. So we call ourselves in some kind of drug addiction relationship. And I started doing crazy right there in Duarte all over again. The stealing spirit, I was taking women to the stores, had an old van, old 70 model Ford van, and I'd take 4 or 5 of them to the stores. They go in there and steal, and I'd drive off. I tell them I'd move around. I'm sitting out there with the car running like it was a bank robbery. Here they come out of there with steaks and all kind of meat we take to the drug dealer, and that was only part of my life in California. I met somebody crazy every day, a drug dope fiend every day. And I worked for the post office. I still had this stealing spirit in the post office, man. If I'd have got caught in that place, that'd have been a federal offense right there, man. That's how I know God was watching over me then, and I didn't even realize it. I didn't give him thanks for it. Because, you know, the Bible said it rains on the just and the unjust. So he watches over us even when we're doing our stupidness. And it took me a while to realize that. I'm going to say this over and over. It took me a while to realize God was watching over me. Because I'm with all these people I've never, old country boy, you sit down in the city from out of the kitchen into the fire and start doing crimes right there. Stealing. Like I see my brother, he had been working with the post office 16 years. He was all happy that I got on, but I started opening mail, birthday card mail. I was doing all kind of stuff, getting money out of that. You knew who was sending mail. You knew who was sending pictures. So I was a hard worker, man. I kept I'd go out to the car on break and smoke crack, come back, and I think everybody paranoid looking at me, but I still was a hard worker. I worked at the place in Alhambra, California, man. There was so many people in there in the mail processing center drinking and smoking weed. We didn't find too many crack smokers, but that's what I was. I continued to do the thing, man. And then I started my own business of cleaning, mobile detailing. Made more money. The more money I made, the more crack I smoked. Renee helped me. Had a couple more of her friends help me. We did a lot of business. Couldn't have nothing in return. So now I'm battling the criminal spirit of stealing. Now my marijuana addiction advanced to crack. This was 1984 when it was new on the burner. And I had a brother that never would turn me down every time I asked for money. Till payday. And I'm battling. Never once did I pray to God and ask for help. Never once did I pray. So one day I was looking out his window, patio, and looking at all the lights and listening to all the music, and I just started crying because I was tired. I got really tired. I got tired of using people. I got tired of destroying my body. I was just tired. Got tired of stealing, and I said a prayer. And my few little words, I just said, "Help me, God, please help me." So in that time, my brother, he said he knew I was on something. So I told him I think it's time for me to go back to Atlanta, a little small town, because this city's gonna kill me if I stay here. My weight was down. I was like 104 pounds on a 6'4" frame. I was pretty thin. And I'd been out there like 2.5 years, 84, 85. So I figured I could come back home. So that's where my plan started. I get back to Atlanta. I thought I could run from the crack. I thought I could run from that addiction. You know, they teach you think you can change people, places, you change locations, you know, and it'll change. But then I remember an old sponsor told me, wherever you go, that's where you're at. Until I put Jesus Christ into this God spot in my heart, that's when things began to change. But I'm still not changing. I just changed the location. I get back to Atlanta. Everybody's glad to meet me. They miss me. And the saga continued. Hit like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about it.